I just received this unconventional offer on my client's listing. And for those of you who are familiar with Pace Morby or Subto Financing, this one is going to excite you. So my client's been on market for about 42 days and we got this full price offer. But what's different about this offer is that it comes with its own contract and sight unseen and completely different terms. This is a subject to offer. The contract came unfamiliar to me because I use OREF forms here in Oregon, and many realtors use those forms, so they're not familiar with all these other contracts. What excited me most is that I follow Subto and I am studying it currently, but I've never seen an offer come to my client. So initially my client's like, is this a scam? And I'm like, ooh, no, it's not. Basically, it's a full price offer, but they're offering different terms to where the seller, instead of getting their equity back, they're financing the purchase. But it's unconventional and creative and a little bit tricky. Basically, with this offer, the buyer is buying the property at full price. They are keeping the existing loan under the seller's name, and they're setting up a third party. The buyer is paying payments to the loan, not the seller paying payments to their current existing loan. And the remaining equity is seller finance. So what that means is instead of the seller getting that equity back at the close, they actually get that equity plus 3% interest over time. In this case, the offer basically said they want to finance 100 and something thousand at 3% interest over 30 years. So in all reality, if this contract did go for 30 years, which typically it doesn't because they finance out of it, I would assume, but if it did, the seller would technically get 3% interest on that amount, which could probably equate to an extra like 50 something thousand over a 30-year period. There's a lot to the contract and it can be a win-win for both buyers and sellers, but I wasn't quite sure if this would work for my seller, and I definitely wasn't as familiar with the contract, so I definitely wanted to get them on the phone to have my seller chat with the buyers to better understand the offer. And if you're a realtor watching this and your seller wants to move forward, I would definitely encourage them to have an attorney look through these documents if you are not familiar with them. Now, mind you, this buyer that sent this offer was from an assistant. They sent me a text, they sent me an email, very clear, sight unseen, submitted the offer. And my seller felt that it was a scam, but because I'm familiar with Pace Morby and Subto, or at least learning it and very curious and excited about it, I was like, oh no, this is not a scam. However, after chatting with them, we realized that this might not work for my sellers because they do have a different scenario where they actually need the equity on cash to be able to do what they need to do next. Long story short though, Pace and I chatted briefly about how this could really benefit agents from understanding what this contract entails and to make sure that their sellers understand that this might not be a scam and it might actually be a good win for them. In chatting with Pace, we kind of thought that maybe it'd be beneficial to have agents get on the line and do a training. And for those of you who are not following Pace Morby and you're a realtor, I think you should. He also has this account and membership that goes over Subto Financing, so you can learn a little bit there also. Or Pace said we can do a training with all you agents and I can invite you guys all in and he can explain to us realtors what to expect with these offers. Does anybody want to do a training with Pace Morby? Of course, I think it'll be beneficial for my agents, but I also thought it'd be beneficial for anybody else who wants to learn a little bit more about this. Let me know in the comments if you're interested.